Good evening, everybody. Hope you can see and hear us okay. Let us know if you can. My name is Natalie Cromie, and I'm the content director here at the Secret Wealth Project. This evening, I am joined by Chris. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Natalie.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. I know that this was something that I kind of threw the gauntlet down at the back end of last year. And I say it every week, but that this particular week resonated with a few people. A few people reached out to me and said, look, I want to push myself out of the comfort zone. I'm ready to come on Never Mind the Buy Box and talk about things. And you were one of them. You was like, right, let's do it. It's time to do it.
I think you have to push yourself out, don't you? If you live in your comfort zone, then you don't grow. So yeah, it's definitely.
Absolutely. We've been talking about this a lot since the start of the year in Elite Sellers Academy. We've been talking about, you're in your comfort zone, but nothing grows. Nothing grows in the comfort zone.
Not even the carrots.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you need to move from the comfort zone into that uncomfortable zone. Talked about that, on Never Mind the Buy Box and also Elite Sellers as well. And then for the crazy people that just want to take it kind of stratospheric, that's when you kind of move into the disillusional kind of disillusioned zone, where, sorry, not disillusioned, delusional, where you do crazy stuff, but as long as everyone's in the uncomfortable zone, that's fine. Hi, Jamie. Jamie said hi about 10 minutes ago. Oh, no, 6:38. You were logged in, ready to go. Fantastic. Simon's joined us. Carolyn is here. Just let us know in the comments. I'm assuming that everyone can see and hear us okay. Tom's joined us. Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. Happy New Year to you. I know it's a bit late to say that, but I'm still saying it to people. Yeah, nice to see you too, Tom. Paul says hi. Now we've got a little bit. Well, it's not Never Mind the Buy Box with a difference, because we do have always a variety of different guests that come on and talk about different things. But I don't think we've ever had anybody come on before that's maybe done what you've done, Chris. I think you're an entrepreneur kind of in reverse. You seem to have done things,
Yeah.
The opposite way to everyone else, but it's clearly working for you. So we're going to talk about that this evening. Hi, Lindsay. Sean's joined us as well. Thank you for confirming. Sean says that he can see and hear us okay. So I want to dive in quite quickly, and like I said, guys, everybody welcome Chris. This is the first time he's done anything like this, so firmly putting himself in the uncomfortable zone.
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
We're nice here, I promise.
Yeah,
Chris.
I know. Yeah.
I promise, for sure. So I want to talk a little bit about it's all going to be about you essentially, but I kind of promised people things with a little bit of a difference tonight. So if you wouldn't mind telling us about a bit of an introduction to yourself, and how you got started kind of with Amazon, but Amazon was the last thing you did. So maybe kind of go back, I think what we were saying, like 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, I'll go back sort of a bit further, because I've sort of been never really settled in jobs, did various different things. I trained as a chef originally back in 88 at college, and did that for a few years, then did various things. And then worked on a social enterprise for a few years like that, and then worked in this working with kids, teaching them how to cook. Then went into school. It was an outreach worker. Did that for a few years, and then but always had the urge to do something myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then while I was there, I had the idea to set up a catering business, but converting a VW camper van into a wood-fired pizza business. So I did that in 2017. Working 2 jobs. I was doing that and working at the school, doing about 70, 80 hours a week for about 18 months.
Wow.
Left there 2019.
I think you said to me beforehand, didn't you, that for 18 months you didn't have a day off?
Yeah, about literally 2 weeks, and that was it.
Yeah.
I was literally 7 days a week. And then I think the only time we had days off was if the weather was rubbish, because it was seasonal, or if it was raining, we couldn't open because there was nobody around, because we would buy a lake and it relied on good weather.
Yeah.
So then 2019, I thought, well, the pizza business is doing well, but it's really doing well in the season, in summertime. We need something for the winter. So I started looking at different options. saw Amazon and thought, oh, private label. So I went on a course, spent about £2,000 on a course. And then the trainer on there said, oh, yeah, we've also got this other thing called OA. I was like, oh, what's that? And he explained it. I thought, oh, that sounds a bit easier. Let's have a look at that. So I did all the training for the private label, but then didn't do anything with it.
So you didn't even attempt to source a product. You just
no. Oh no, I did. Yeah, I did. I saw something from China and got it sent over actually, and was going to sell in America.
What was it? Can you say if you're going to do it?
It was a tumbler, like a bamboo tumbler.
What's a Oh,
so like one of these, but in bamboo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was what it was going to be. So I got the sample sent over, and the sample was rubbish.
Oh,
it literally stayed hot for about 10 minutes. So I sort of knocked that on the head, and then I just went down the OA route. Started off doing a bit of that, and then went into RA in beginning of 2019.
Wow.
So yeah, and then
how long were you doing? So you started with the OA, then you decided to go into RA. So how long were you doing the RA for?
I stopped doing that 2020, just when probably about May 2020.
Right.
When I got a prep center.
Right. Okay. So because obviously doing RA is something. So all right up until that time, from when you left your job, running the catering business with your wife as well. Your wife was, you said beforehand, your wife's your business partner, and she has also given up her job as well. So you're both fully reliant.
So she does a lot of the prep for the pizza business, and then we go out together and run it. It's a mobile van that we have.
Brilliant. And did you convert the van yourself, or did you have it converted?
Yeah, I've done two. I did the original camper van, which was a stupid idea because it's it's a proper wood-fired pizza oven, which is nearly 1 meter wide in the back of a 1985 camper van. It just doesn't work.
Do you know what?
It's trying to imagine it.
It blows my mind a little bit. I can't even imagine how you get insurance for something like that.
You had the space that you stood in, and that was it. It was so small in there and cramped. If I was doing it from scratch again, I would have gone with a bigger vehicle. But I wanted the quirkiness, and it worked because everybody sort of the VW camper van and stuff.
And I'd imagine you said one of your main spots is by a lake, and that's where the VW kind of van crew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like it fitted in with where we were. But we then stopped being at the lake for various reasons, and then I got another van and converted that because the VW only had one seat in it, because where the passenger seat was, I had to put in a sink.
Please don't tell me you made your wife ride in the back.
No, we used to keep it on site. It didn't go on the road that often, so it was pretty good. Then we got a bigger van, kitted it out, and we've still got that one now.
Wow. And is there plans to do a second business in a second van? Because I mean, before we come on and talk about Amazon, I found the interesting thing about you, Chris, is that we were talking about this beforehand, is I know the pizza van is your day job essentially. And
that's the thing that brings the money in at the moment.
Yeah. So I think I talked about doing it the opposite way around, whereas most people want to, kind of leave their day job and do Amazon, whereas you've got massive kind of intentions to grow your catering business as well.
Yeah. So the plan is, hopefully within the next 6 months, we'll have a unit that we're delivering the pizzas from, as well as a van. And then hopefully within a year, possibly 18 months, we'll have a restaurant as well.
Wow.
But the restaurant will be specializing in vegan and gluten-free.
Which is so popular, and it's still, whenever you look at things like on Google Trends and things like that, it's something that's still continuing to grow. People have interest in it. I was saying beforehand, I've got a family member who is vegan and gluten-free, not for moral reasons, but for dietary health reasons
Yeah.
and everything like that. And I think people now know it's, if you do it right, it's very healthy way to live, essentially.
Yeah. Well, Kim's like poo-pooed it for a while because I was wanting to go vegan. She's going, oh no. But then she found out she got arthritis, and we watched a program called The Game Changer. Just going off the tangent here a bit.
No, go for it.
And they were saying that meat and dairy actually inflames the body.
Yeah.
So she stopped taking it, and within 2-3 weeks, her pains had gone.
Wow.
And then over Christmas, because we had the kids back, she came off the vegan diet, wasn't as strict, and within a week she had the pains back.
Yeah.
Gone back on the vegan diet, and the pains have gone. So
I know exactly the same. I've been suffering with this kind of carpal tunnel thing, and as soon as I cut out certain things in my diary that causes inflammation, so I've looked at inflammation quite a lot, and especially if you've got something like arthritis or carpal tunnel or anything like that, then having that kind of anti-inflammatory diet really does help. And I know it, every time I come off it, my hands stop hurting when my hands start hurting. So if you get a message from me, which is a voice message, I've been eating bad food. Because I'm not typing. I can't type when my hands hurt that much. Great. Aftab says great. Oh, Mark Penn's joined us evening. So's Harminder. So really interesting story. So if you weren't busy enough in your life, working 78, 80 hours a week, then you decided to do Amazon on top of that as well.
Yeah. Well, I'd quit the school, so I was just doing the pizza business, so my hours had gone back to like normal. But then I was going, okay, I need to get some more income for when it's the winter. I thought Amazon would work. But Amazon has just kept growing and growing and growing.
Because presumably, you started Amazon, did a year, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah, well, it was rightly or wrongly, I thought, that's going to bring in a nice income fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But loads of people know that to grow the business, you have to keep reinvesting and reinvesting. So that's what I've been doing, and building it up to where it is now. So hopefully this year I'm going to concentrate on getting profit from it more so, rather than just, because I've sort of built the foundations for it. And now going on to
build the base. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Built the foundations, built the base, and now going to put the house on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really interesting is you shared your kind of stats with me a little bit beforehand, which I'm not going to say if you don't feel comfortable with, but you've had this really steady kind of year-on growth, which is building that foundation is really great to see.
I said to you that I'm quite lazy, and I don't, believe it or not, and my memory's not great either.
Lazy, guys.
So I tend to forget a lot of stuff. So I think, this is a good idea, do that, and then like 3-4 months later, go, and go back to it. But I don't like creating loads of work for myself. I know it sounds stupid from what I've just said.
No, not at all.
But I've got quite a good balance at the moment, although I know it's going to get busier, where I spend probably 10, 12 hours a week on Amazon. And then the pizza business is 18, about 30, 35 hours. So it's probably still doing more than most people's 40 hours a week or whatever.
I remember reading a statistic somewhere, and again, this is going to sound like an oxymoron. It's going to sound crazy to people, but the more you look at it, you can see why it works. Whereas they do say true entrepreneurs and people generally are not lazy people, but they tend to find the reason it works for them is because they don't necessarily want to do the work. They want to grow their business. They want to do this. It's because they want to find the quickest way possible of doing the work so they can do whatever else they want to. So that's why they're really good at, problem solving, making creative solutions and things like that. So it's not unusual to hear, that characteristic in certain people when they say they're lazy, but they're not lazy. They just want to find the quickest possible way to do it. Sorry, carry on.
I would say I probably could have grown the business more if I'd have put more effort in. But I see it as I'm seeing it as like a pension, because I'm like just over 50. So I'm thinking I'll give myself a target of 50 by the time I'm 55 to hit a certain figure. And if I hit that, I'm happy. So I'm not looking at it now. I'm not looking at it short term. I'm going more longer term. What can I get out of it?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm much more chilled with it than I used to be at the beginning. It's like, yeah, come on, we've got to do this, got to get this done, we've got to build it as quickly as we can. And I've now like changed completely on that now.
I think what's interesting is looking at the business, and like I said, you were sharing some kind of stats with me that if it is a more long-term plan, you started the business, then the next year you doubled it, and then the next year you doubled it again. If you carry on like that for the next 5 years, before
I
you
think
know
that might be
it,
harder as it's getting as the sums are getting bigger.
Well, not necessarily, because you've taken the right steps to put things in place. So let's talk about that for a minute. I'll come on to that in a moment. Harminder said, I used to have a burger van with a mate of mine selling Indian food when I was younger. Used to have a right laugh. Mark Penn said, I worked on a burger van. Love a cash business.
Yeah.
But I suppose even cash businesses aren't really cash businesses anymore, because I take it you take cards and everything like that.
Before the pandemic, it was probably 60 cash, 40 card. And then the pandemic hit and it probably went to 80 card, 20 cash.
Wow. Yeah. So that has made a big difference.
Yeah.
So just before we move on and talk about more the Amazon side of things, I'm curious to know, with the pizza business and serving customers and everything like that, do you enjoy that side of it? Do you enjoy the social side of it, meeting customers and that type of thing?
Not massively. Kim.
Oh, really?
Kim is more the talkative person in our relationship. Anybody that knows us is like, she's the one. Like, it's a bit of a joke when we go to people's houses. She'll say, right, shall we leave? Like, and then half an hour later, she's still there talking. I'm saying, come on, let's go.
Yeah, Matt doesn't know what you're talking about or anything.
No. Yeah. So I do it, but it's not something I necessarily enjoy. It's more of an effort for me.
Okay, that's interesting.
So like doing this is an effort for me, believe it or not. So, but yeah, it's taking me out of my comfort zone. So
you wouldn't know it, Chris. You're very confident. No. You're very, articulate. Agree with me, guys. Here, I think that you're not coming across as shy or don't know what you're talking about.
I've learned the skills of how to do it.
Yeah,
but I could quite easily just sit down and read a book. It's quite funny. My kids always say I would be like one part away from being a homeless man and being happy on the street. Because I just like my own company and wandering around and not having doing my own thing, not having any responsibilities, that type of thing. But,
you know what? I'm probably gonna cause a riot by saying this, but I think that's a man thing. I think it is. Sorry, guys, but I think it is, definitely, for sure. So fast forward back to the kind of I agree. Dean says you're really interesting to listen to. 100% agree.
Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So fast forward back, business is growing, pizza business is going great. There obviously come to a point where you think you were doing the prep yourself at this point. You were doing RA, which is a really physical side of the business.
Yeah.
So you're doing RA and you're prepping it yourself. And there must have come a point where you thought, right, I can't do this anymore, or this is not going to be scalable as it is.
Yeah, it was a fact that at the beginning it was quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then we were sending out, I don't know, 15 boxes twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we were buying stock one day, if not 2 days. So on a Monday we go and buy stock, prep it on the Tuesday, go and buy some more on the Wednesday, prep it on the Thursday, and then work the pizza business the rest of the time. And it just got to a stage where it wasn't enjoyable, and I hated doing the prep anyway, because I'm not, again, Kim's quite organized, but I'm very disorganized. So the amount of times you do stuff and then just before you went to do it, press the button, something came up and it was wrong. It normally ended up with being labels printed wrong.
Yeah.
And you put them on there wrong, and it's like, oh my God. And you have to go through all the boxes and find out which labels it were that was wrong. And it's just like, and it got to the stage where I was like detesting doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah,
You
I
put it
need to.
off, don't you? You put it off and you think, right, I'll do that tomorrow. Or, you procrastinate on it because you think, oh, I can't do this anymore. But obviously,
Yeah, or you don't buy as many products because you've got to
yeah,
prep them all.
yeah,
So
you force
so it's
yourself
just
not
like
to.
going, okay, something needs to change. And I got to the stage where, and I obviously listened to the Secret Wealth Project and different other people and saying, you need to systemize, get it all set up so you're not doing everything. And I think that was probably at the beginning of the pandemic, March, April, May. It was that sort of transition period where I was still doing some of it, but I was sending some to the prep center. So most of my wholesale orders were then going to the prep center while I was still doing like the retail arbitrage side of things. And then I just thought, no, let's get it all sent to the prep center.
Yeah, presumably there must have been a point where you were kind of forced to stop doing RA during that period of time anyway, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I was just trying to think back, actually. I did get some. I remember a couple of times when I went in there, they were saying, oh, you can't be. It was a time when they were restricting you on buying stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going in there and I was saying, oh, you can't buy that. So I was trying to say it's like for business, etc. I think I got stopped once and they took the stuff off me.
Oh, what, like physically removed it?
Yeah, I got it on the conveyor belt and they said, you can't buy this stuff. You've got too much there. So they literally took it off me. And I think I went out the shop empty.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. That happened to me, but it wasn't actually business related. Whereas my mum lives in an annex in our house. Well, not in our house, in our garden kind of thing. And my mum only eats certain type of things. And I remember going in worrying about whether she was going to get the food that she can eat during the pandemic. And literally they were like these certain types of yogurts, and woman physically came up and took them off me, and I was fuming. And I understand, because I probably came I must have time traveled back to 2 years ago when I was doing RA previously before that, when I was coming up with any excuse under the sun. Yeah, I've got 10 nephews. I was doing this, and I'm buying that because we're party planners and we do this. We've all got them. We've all got our best RA lives. But it was literally the truth for once. So I was literally I think the boy who cried wolf, because I was like, look, this is the only thing that she'll eat, and I'm scared that she's not going to be able to eat anything, during this time. Remember that time during the pandemic when it was a bit scary, when all the shelves were bare and everything like that. And I just remember the woman looking at me in the same way that the people used to look at me when I was giving my RA excuses, as if to say, and she actually said, yeah, but that's what everyone says. And I was like, yeah, but I'm telling the truth this time, I promise. But yeah, no, it was sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent then. So that's when you decided enough is enough, gonna start using a prep center. And was it like a big weight of relief, or were you a bit worried? Because obviously when you first introduced the prep center,
no, I was fairly confident because I've been speaking with the prep center for quite a while, so I built up quite a good relationship with them, so I was quite happy to go down that route.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that stressful for me.
Yeah, I honestly don't think much stresses you out, to be honest, Chris. You seem like you're
I'm
really
quite
laid back guy.
I am known as being laid back.
No,
they say if I was any more laid back, I'd fall over.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean says each company has a policy. Boots is the worst. Yeah. I don't know. Argos is pretty bad as well, actually. I was physically removed from an Argos once, so didn't happen to me in Boots. But yeah, absolutely. Boots is the worst one. If somebody buys Boots, will the policy change? ? That's a good question, actually, Sean. I don't know. That's when we generally see, policy changes within people, within companies, when companies change hands. And that was interesting. So that's what happens a lot with IP claims. And we get asked this question a lot throughout or I see it asked not only in the Secret Wealth Project, but different Facebook groups as well, where someone will come in and say, oh, can I sell such and such brand? It's red on the IP radar on BuyBot Pro. Can I sell it? But I see there are 20 people selling it. Well, it's because that IP claim could have come from 2 years ago, It may have been owned by a different company at that time. Company may have been sold. Company has a different policy, or the company may have just given up issuing IP claims because they were having to do it, so much of the time. So, policies change, things change, and especially on Amazon, nothing's set in stone. So we'll have to wait and see on that one for sure. So you went through the prep center, started doing the prep center at that point. And how did that change the dynamic of your two businesses? Did you then, because you weren't doing that prep, where did you focus your effort on what part of the business?
I don't think I did particularly. I think I took my foot off the gas, so to speak. Probably the thing that I did was probably the best thing I did, and I'd already had them at this stage. I had a VA then that had been with me for a few months, but I just poor girl, I just got looking at one particular website for about 3 months because I didn't really know what I was doing. And thankfully, she stayed with me because she's now my manager. She's brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
But I think the thing was, I said, right, okay, so I'm doing a prep center. I've only got one VA. I need to get some more. So I then got another 2. And then just before this Christmas, I got another 1. So I've now got 4 working for me.
I think we probably got the same message at the same time then, because we're in the same group.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had it come up on yours and I saw it on mine and I was like, oh yeah, okay, sorry. So you had the manager, you had the 2 VAs, and that's when the focus shifted from retail arbitrage into more online arbitrage and wholesale.
Yeah, wholesale, and then this last year I've got a couple of manufacturers as well.
Right, brilliant. And are you working with them exclusively, or
one I am on one of their products, and the other one I'm not. Although you'll be pleased to know I've got some bundles that I've got some unique. The barcodes are assigned to the business and just us, so no one else can come on our listings.
Yeah, so the company registered the barcodes on your behalf.
No, they're registered on there with them.
Yes, but on your behalf.
Yeah,
brilliant. Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, guys, that is actually what Amazon wants. Essentially, when the Amazon brand name policy changed, it came in about 18 months ago, and I know it frustrated a lot of people when that change came in, because people were very much like Amazon, in classic Amazon style. When they make a change, they don't tend to tell people. With the Amazon brand name policy change, they did, but they didn't make certain things clear. And this is the reason, guys, you remember from last year, I did Never Mind the Buy Box that fully focused on people that are abusing the brand name policy and people receiving IP claims from different sellers on branded products and things like that. But in Amazon's eyes, the only person that can issue a true barcode to be assigned to a product is the brand owner, is the manufacturer of the product of that particular brand. And that's essentially what they wanted people to go out there and do. But as we know, that's a lot easier said than done, because, there's not many people that will have a good enough relationship to get barcodes issue. I know someone that's watching tonight who's a very successful seller, and they might jump in a minute because I know they're already watching. It is someone that is, able to do that in their position. But yeah, it's just interesting. So I
was actually on the receiving end of that. It was at the end of October, beginning of November, because I had 3 days in November where my account was suspended because we'd listed and someone put an IP complaint against us, and it was actually from the manufacturer that I'd actually bought the products from.
Oh, wow.
I was listed on there, so I got it from the manufacturer. The person that got it, they got the brand that I'd bought and then their name in front of it. So my VA had made the mistake. So it was like Joe Smith's, then the actual brand I'd bought. And I was convinced I was in the right. So I fought it, and Amazon suspended my account because I put in so many different arguments to it. And I was thinking, they're not getting it. They're not getting it. I was getting really frustrated with it. I say, look, I've got authorization from the brand to sell this product.
Yeah.
But it was a good learning curve for me to understand
The process.
that process and what you can and what you can't do. And
Yeah.
even now, I think I'm still having issues with that product being in stranded inventory because they're saying it's counterfeit.
Have you?
Even though it came back directly from the manufacturer, I bought it from the manufacturer and I've sent in.
You did that one. Did you buy it with permission from the manufacturer?
Yeah. I had the invoices and everything, but because it wasn't this actual brand that had registered this product, his brands and brand get confusing, but let's say A and B. So I'd bought A from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Brand B had listed it with
under
their
own
name
brand.
and
Right.
brand A.
Yeah.
So I'd actually got it from the manufacturer, the invoice from the manufacturer that I sent in and said, no, that doesn't come from brand B. That comes from brand A. So we need it from brand B.
Yeah.
But brand B, obviously, I couldn't get anything from brand B because they wouldn't give it to me. The only good thing that came out of that, the manufacturer then put an IP complaint in against that brand because they shouldn't have been selling it.
Yeah.
So they got wiped off it. But
well, I don't know if you're aware, but they can actually change the name of the listing, which will solve your problem of it going into stranded.
Oh, okay.
So they will be able to change the brand name. So I can send you the details if
that'd be good. Yeah,
if you're in contact with them. And plus, top tip, guys, for anyone that does have this kind of relationship with a manufacturer that is brand registered, they can also authorize you to sell that brand under their brand registry.
Okay. Yeah.
So that will stop you getting any potential IP claims, because IP claims, when a brand issues an IP claims, they're non-discriminative. So what they won't be able to say is, right, Chris's brand, he's authorized to sell. When the IP claim goes out, it goes out as a blanket, to everyone. They can't exclude you specifically unless you are authorized to sell that brand, and then you wouldn't receive the IP claim.
Yeah.
But they can change it. They just, there's a process in order to get the brand name changed. And, this is what but the funny thing is, they're the manufacturer, their brand's being sold on Amazon, and most kind of manufacturers don't know how to do that, and that's why a lot of these sellers are getting away with it, because there's not a level of knowledge. So anyway, so we're just reading that. It's called whitelist. She needs to be added to the whitelist, and get an exemption for it. So I'll let you know that afterwards anyway. So got the prep center, got the VAs, got a couple of exclusives. Then, like I said, then you said you started kind of creating your own opportunities. Is that when you kind of joined Elite Sellers?
No, I'd done that. Joined Elite Sellers a while ago, and then put most of the other stuff in place. So I had the 2 VAs in place before I joined Elite Sellers, and then I've increased it since then.
Ah, cool. And what's interesting as well is you said to me that your VA, you trained your VA to do most of the unique stuff. So they do that for you as well now.
Yeah, I've actually employed the one I employed in October, November time. That one just specifically does bundles. That's all she does.
Wow.
And does she do bundles for me?
Does she do the full process? So she does the full research, then sourcing, and then creating the product and creating the listing?
Pretty much. She has some help from the manager. So the manager, because her English isn't fantastic, so the manager oversees it, makes sure all the wording's correct and all the images are correct and stuff. So I literally have nothing to do with that. I mean, I've got listings on there that I sort of, so we have a meeting every week and they go through what bundles she's created, and then I'll look at them and go, okay, yeah, well, that doesn't really work. This, if you put that in with it, that'll work better, and sort of give them little pointers. But that's pretty much all the input I have. So that's a meeting that lasts an hour on a Monday. Wow. And then I have another meeting after that with the manager that lasts about another hour. So it's 2 hours a week.
For someone that's not saying they're not organized, you do seem to be pretty organized.
Well, I've had to become organized. It's like, otherwise, like with my accounts, it took me ages to get that sorted out. And I'm now actually getting stuff done the month it's supposed to be done, rather than 2 or 3 months down the line.
Mhm. Would you say that you're someone that's driven by ambition? I mean, I know you originally said that you
No, not
kind of
really.
but you didn't
No,
really get on with jobs, but you knew you
no,
wanted
I
to
never,
work
I never really
yourself.
fitted into the corporate world that well. I don't know what it was, but I just never really got on. If I was better working by myself.
Mhm.
I had a job at Bosch Siemens Home Appliances. I was a chef trainer there, doing all like the Bosch ovens, things like that. And it was all right to start with, but then I got into all the politics of it, and I just
Yeah.
wasn't for me. So I only stayed there 6 months, I think.
So you
But
prefer to create your own simple life, essentially.
yeah, basically, yeah, I'd be happy just sort of on a farm, tinkering around, doing a little bit here and there, mucking out, and just doing stuff like that.
Brilliant.
But
Do you create goals and a plan for your business?
not really, no. I have like specific goals for monetary, and I have sort of an idea of where I want to get to, but I don't have it because I know I've spoken to you before, so seen your training where it's like, okay, you diary this, and I've tried doing that, and I just can't stick to it for the. I can do it for about a week, and then I just forget about it, or and it's just like so. Yeah, I'm pretty much fly by the night. I've got a big picture of where I want to get to,
Mm-hmm.
but the actual path on how to get there is not that well laid out as well as I'd like it to be. That's probably going to be my goal for this year, is to get more organized, because I blame it on the fact of not having an office, and I have to sit on a dining room table and do my office. And then I say this quietly in case you're listening. My wife's a bit of a freak when it comes to cleanliness and tidiness. So as soon as I leave stuff around, she's like clearing it up, and it's like, oh, where's that gone? And it's like, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So that's what I'm putting it down to. But actually, it's because I'm not very organised. She organised. She says I'm like a big kid sometimes. I think that's probably a man thing as well, being married, and it's just like,
yeah, I think so. But it sounds actually, it sounds very much like a little bit like Matt and myself. You both seem like you have different skills but complementary skills. So maybe when you're lacking in one area, she excels in that area, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
How have you found working with your spouse?
Okay, because we both met at catering college.
Oh, okay.
So we sort of worked in kitchens together, which is high pressure environment.
Yeah.
So we know we'd always get, and we work together now. She thinks she's the boss.
I hope she's not listening.
No.
In that case, she is the boss.
yeah. No, we get on pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we work. She's more organized. She likes to get. She's very much like, I want to get things done now. I'm very much like, no, let's just wait a while and we'll get them done just before we start. So she want like the prep for the pizza business. She'll want it done the day before. I would do it just as we're leaving.
Yeah.
It's like that. So
can I ask, what do you prefer? Pizzas or Amazon?
I like the idea with Amazon is to give me the freedom to be able to do what I want to do.
Right.
That's the ultimate goal, and that's why it's like the pension side of it. So when I'm 55, that money's going to be there, and it should give me what I want, is to go, okay, so what do I want to do for the rest? So what I want to try and get to is a place where I own several businesses, but I don't do that much with them.
Mm-hmm.
The gluten-free and vegan side is sort of my passion, and environment is my passion, that side of it. So linking that up with Amazon would be like the ideal.
Yeah, which is totally possible. We've talked about it.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be. I'm not, Amazon is almost how do you say it? It's almost like a side hustle type of thing, rather than my main goal.
Yeah.
Monetary wise, it probably is my main goal, which may seem a bit counterintuitive, but I don't get as much enjoyment from Amazon as I do from the pizza business.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Yeah, no, absolutely. Your Amazon is your means to your end,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a destination business for you.
Yeah.
Or a journey business,
Yeah,
or a
it's
destination.
going to be hopefully a long-term business.
Yeah.
It,
I
it
don't see
may,
any reason why not. I think you're doing
yeah,
absolutely everything right. You're diversifying. You're within different areas. You're not purely in OA. You're not purely in private label. You're not purely in
yeah,
wholesale.
and we're across several categories as well.
Yeah, it's across several categories. You've outsourced your business successfully. It's growing year on year. You've also got an additional business. So I don't see any reason why not. So you're building the right type of multiple incomes for you. So I don't think there's anything, I think that perfectly makes sense. It's a means to an end. And that is the case for a lot of people with Amazon. There are people out there, crazy people that absolutely love Amazon, no matter what. And I'm slightly one of those people because I really admire Amazon as a business. I think it's phenomenal. When you sit down and think about the Amazon operation, I know they're a-holes sometimes, but when you sit down and think about what they've done and how they've shaped and changed the world of retail over the last 10 years, it's phenomenal. It's mind-blowing really what they've done and what they will continue to do. They're so far ahead. Looking at that Amazon Live stuff that I was looking at last week is, that is just phenomenal what's going to be coming there, just in the US at the moment, how they're going to be using influencers to build people's businesses. It's so high tech, but it is high tech and it's not high tech because it's high tech in the sense that, it's connecting with people directly. It's coming to a point where people are never going to have to leave their house to get anything they physically want again. But at the same time, it's like a new spin on an old idea. It
it's
reminds me
almost
of
cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it
direct
is.
to consumer rather than going through Facebook or TikTok or whatever.
You're absolutely right. It's Amazon has seen the growth of other areas, social media, and now it's, people having their own website. They're doing everything they can to stop people from buying elsewhere. That's what they're doing, and they're making it more convenient to people to do that. I was Bradley Sutton from Helium 10 put up a post the other day that I saw where he said he's based in LA, I think, and he ordered something on Amazon. It was delivered within 2 hours.
Wow.
Which is just crazy. And that's the service. And that's in America, and America's a big country. And I know LA's obviously a very condensed city. But it's crazy. That will be, I know London does do a same day delivery as well, but that's the way they're kind of heading with their drones.
I've noticed we had the issues with the stock last year, didn't we? Where you couldn't send in stock. But where I am, there's a warehouse here and there's a warehouse probably 15 minutes in the next town.
Wow.
So they're building the hubs where they can actually do that.
And does your prep center's not based there though, is it?
No, my prep center's based somewhere else. But for Amazon delivering stuff to me.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Distribution.
Yeah, distribution. They're building more and more warehouses around, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think, when they had the issues with the stock and everything last year, that was sort of them saying, look, we're not storage by Amazon, we're fulfillment by Amazon, but they are definitely expanding. So they were scaling back on their fulfillment centers, but, upping the kind of distribution side of it as well. Someone asked me interesting the other day, because there's apparently, and guys, has anyone been experiencing it? That's what I meant to ask at the start of tonight, is we're seeing quite a few people that are not having UPS collections. UPS is saying that they've got too much stuff from Amazon and they're told not to pick up certain Amazon things. So if you've experienced that, let me know, because it's always good to get feedback on whether that's the case. But I think at some point, this is my Mystic Nat predictions, I think we'll see two major things this year. I think we'll see Amazon bring on another partner carrier if they don't buy UPS themselves, which I don't know if that could ever happen, whether it would get stopped due to competition issues or whatever. But I think they'll bring on another partner carrier this year, and I also think they'll put the seller fee up this year as well, the professional selling fee. It's been the same for like 12 years, £25. So.
Yeah.
Those are the two Mystic Nat predictions that I think will happen this year. Roger said it's new age QVC. That's exactly what I see it as. Sean's asked a question, actually, Chris, which is about multiple streams of income, which is obviously a goal of yours, to have different businesses connected but producing different incomes. Have you thought about some of the other selling platforms like eBay and some of the others?
Yeah, I have, but again, it's finding a company that would do that and setting it all up. That was on one of my goals for this year. Although I said I didn't set any, but in my head, was actually to see. Yeah, they're there. I just don't write them down. And it'll probably come back in July or something. Oh yeah, remember that thought you had back in January? Yeah, you better do something with that now. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just seeing with the stock that I've got whether it would work on another platform. Because again, I don't want to be doing the fulfillment myself.
No.
That's one of the things I don't want to be doing. So, if I was just doing Amazon and I didn't have another business, then I'd probably be doing the whole lot myself and go, okay, yeah, because there's enough money. It's probably just enough money at the moment for me to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, it's something I've thought of, but not giving it that much serious thought.
So I'm going to ask you a double-sided question because you are, like I said, in the unique position of having two different businesses. So I'm going to ask you the same question that applies to both. So what are you finding, or what do you think is the biggest challenge in each of your businesses at the moment? So what do you think the biggest challenges are that you're going to hit this year in 2022?
Okay, so for the Amazon business, well, I think for both of them, actually, if I want to do what I want to do, it's going to be finance.
Yeah.
Amazon kindly keep telling me I can borrow up to £81,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's maybe not so much an issue. But on the other side, doing the pizza side of it, that could, and setting up the restaurant, that could be.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But then with Amazon, I think it's going to be making sure we're adding the right products.
Yeah.
And developing brands as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I've registered 2 brands with I was going to say trading standards. That's got my catering head on.
Oh no, you don't want to be registering with trading standards.
No, definitely not. With the trademark.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 brands registered with there. Potentially looking at another 1 or 2 later on.
Yeah.
This Q1. So.
Well, with regards to cash flow, there's plenty of options out there. Obviously, you've got an attractive Amazon loan, but actually, I don't know if Tom is still watching. Tom joined at the beginning. He actually works for a company called Payoneer. So it might be worth reaching out to him just to see what kind of support a company like Payoneer could be able to offer you to expand your business. In terms, I don't know how it stands with lending from Amazon versus Payoneer. I know it's pretty good, but they're different types of lending. So it might be worth speaking to someone like Tom, who, if you genuinely think that cash flow finance is going to be an issue, but I'll send you.
Because if I'm looking at scaling up the Amazon business I don't think we'll double this year. It'd be nice if we did, but I don't think we will. It's just having the money in there to be able to know that I can do it when the opportunities come along. The person from the manufacturer that I've got the barcodes from phoned me up today actually and said, "Am I going to Spring Fair?" I went, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, great! I've got some new products to show you."
Brilliant.
And I've got some people to introduce you to as well.
There we go.
Different companies. So yeah, that depending on what comes out of that, that could be really good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is exactly, Chris has done that perfectly, about leveraging relationships with suppliers and manufacturers are all about. If you get in, you perform, you buy from them, you do well with them, then the opportunity should come to you as opposed to you chasing the opportunities.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I know sometimes when we talk about this kind of stuff, then when it actually happens and you think, oh wow, it does happen like people say it does.
Yeah. We've spent a few thousand with them now, and it's like, okay, yeah, and they can see the good thing is the bundles we've created, we've added quite a bit of value to them. If you
Yeah.
because they were saying to me that their issue is people are tanking the price.
Yeah.
What a surprise. But we've come in and we've actually given value to their products by putting them together.
Yeah.
So they're
No,
really happy
absolutely.
to work with us. So
One of the biggest benefits of creating your own opportunities, creating your own listings, creating your bundles every single time, and every year when the spring and autumn fair kind of rolls around, which it hasn't really obviously for the last couple of years anyway, we talk specifically about this in ESA, never mind the buy box, in Secret Wealth Project, that if you imagine, and I've been in this position, I exhibited at these fairs, for a good few years, and people get really offended when they go up to a brand owner or a representative or an exhibitor or something like that. Well, they come up to them and say, hey, I love your products. The one we always used to get most offended about is drop shippers. But they come up and they say, hey, I love your products. I'm an Amazon seller, or I'm going to sell online. Can I buy 5? Can I drop ship your products? And when we used to say no to people, it's because of all the reasons that you've just said, price tanking. We didn't want the brand integrity to be compromised. And this was before I was an Amazon seller, guys, and knew how to, leverage that effectively. But, we used to get that a lot. And then 5 minutes later, the next person will come up. And you're dealing with people that have been doing this for years and years and years. And the most traditional way used to be to grow a brand was to sell it through bricks and mortar stores. And, the dynamic of that has changed, especially massively over the last 5 years. So we used to have people coming up saying, I've set up a website, which you knew wasn't probably going to go anywhere because they didn't have the fundamental skills on how to drive traffic to that website. They bought the domain name. They might have bought, something or, set it up on Shopify or something like that. And you wanted your brand being represented in the right way. And imagine that happening 100 times a day. And that's what would happen.
Yeah.
And after 5 days, you get pretty sick of it. And you end up and you end up learning to scam people's tags. And I will say one of the biggest tip I give to people in trade shows is do not put online seller or something or Amazon seller on your tag, because I learned to scan the tag straight away. And the buzzwords that I would be really interested in would be like procurement officer, head buyer, all these buyer for the Hut Group, that type of thing. So put something interesting because everybody scans the tags. So don't put Amazon seller, although I'm pretty sure that's changed. But that's why having the experience that you've developed over the last couple of years and, blowing my trumpet a little bit here through Elite Sellers gives you the ability to be able to do that. Is you can go up to them with a different story. You can go up to them with a different opportunity for them. Whereas everyone else will say, hey, I sell on Amazon. You can go up to and say, I sell on Amazon, but I do things differently. I work with brands to help maintain brand integrity. I sell things differently that retain the pricing. We create a compelling offer for Amazon customers to buy. We make it really convenient for them. All these different types of things. And if you go in with that angle, you definitely got more chance of success of building relationships.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I went to when I first started, so it'd be, I think it was 2018 potentially. I went to there when I hardly knew anything. And I was like a fish out of water, just like walking around. So again, I hadn't obviously planned it, so I didn't really know what I was going. So okay, yeah, you need to go to Spring Fair, but I didn't really know what was going. Obviously, to try and get accounts and stuff. I think I might have got one account, and I put an order in, and then the guy wouldn't send me any more. I kept emailing. He says, "Oh yeah, we've not done as well." He was just one guy company. And he says, oh, yeah, we've not sold as many as we thought. So we're going to be the people selling it on Amazon now.
Yeah.
And it was a really good product as well. But
yeah. And exactly, if you have that experience as well, that not necessarily, you can go to a point where you can go up to them and you can say, hey, look, are you on Amazon? Are you selling yourself? And they might say, well, other people are selling. Hey, guess what? I've got the experience that I can take your products exclusive on Amazon and, I can run it for you. You can have a commission-based deal or retainer or something like that, and you can display your expertise and experience in a different way that's really fruitful for you and the brand owner as well.
Yeah, I went to a trade show back in September, and the guy was telling me there, he said, I'd had somebody come up to me that wanted a percentage to manage the business or to manage the Amazon said. And he said, by the time I'd looked into it, there was nothing left in it for us.
Mm.
The person wanting to run the Amazon side of it was taking all of the money.
Yeah, that does happen as well.
So,
if it's
a so you got to be careful.
Make it a win-win. You've got to make it a win-win. Absolutely. Otherwise, those type of relationships where it's all heavily balanced in one party's favor, they never last. No. They will never last. Anyone that we represent for have always been long-term relationships, and we've been doing it now for a good 18 months, and we tend to retain clients because at the end of the day we do well we do well with it, and it's a very fair deal, but we tend to approach people that just don't want anything to do with selling on Amazon themselves. Maybe they've tried and failed, and didn't even get. We had one guy that just didn't even get past setting up his account because I think he was just horrified by the process of doing
it. I think they should do like a degree course in Amazon. Sometimes if my daughter's just done a what did she do? Policing and criminology degree, and then she did a master's in financial investigation.
Wow.
And I was reading through, I had to read all her assignments to check for spelling and stuff like that. And learning Amazon feels a lot harder than doing that, I'm telling you.
Well, there you go. You heard it here, guys. Forensic science and financial fraud investigations are easier than selling on Amazon or setting up selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's Amazon are not very transparent in some of the things. You've been part of something today. This is what we were talking about earlier with a message where, again, the reason I set up Elite Sellers Academy was because things are so fluid on Amazon. They're constantly changing. You can do things one way, and before you know it, Amazon make a change, but they don't tell you they've made a change, and they've made a change in something that we teach in the Elite Sellers Academy. And Matt and I have spent pretty much the full day today dedicated into finding a workaround. I don't know if Matt's watching, and I don't know if I say it, but I think we found the problem, the issue with it, and I think we have. I think we found it, or we've certainly got nearly there with it. And that's sometimes what happens on Amazon. I understand people's level of frustration when it comes to those certain types of things, but we'll just have to wait and see. So fingers crossed that issue will be fixed. But all credit to Matthew for that, not me.
Well done, Matt. If that's worked, I'm amazing.
Yeah. Fingers crossed it has. Fingers crossed. We'll let you know if it does for sure, because it's one of those things that it's a specific thing on Amazon, but it eventually start affecting everyone. So fingers crossed we found a fix for it, which is good. So nearly an hour. Told you it goes quick. Does go quick. So what does the future look like? I mean, you've talked about different businesses. What's kind of next for you?
The long-term plan is to move to the coast somewhere, because I'm probably central in the country at the moment. We want to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you're down there, aren't you, on the south coast? But we want to move
to the best place in the world to live. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got friends that've got a caravan close by, and we've been down there a couple of times. So it's know it well down there. So but so we want to move to the coast somewhere, move away from where we are. So everything's sort of geared towards that.
Have the kids flown the nest? Have all the kids flown the nest?
The oldest one is still here,
as always.
He's
boy
26.
Or girl?
Boy 26.
Yeah, I say this to Matt, and I say this to my son. My son says, "Oh yeah, when I'm 19 and living with my friends," I say, "You'll still be here when you're 30."
Yeah.
Whereas
hopefully in the next 18 months he'll be moving out. He's saving with his girlfriend, so hopefully that won't be too long. They'll be going. So
that's good. I left home at 16, 16, 17, whereas my brother stayed until he was 32.
Wow. Yeah, I actually left because I was catering college. We went to work in a hotel, and I never went back home. So that was at 19. So
yeah, absolutely.
but,
so move to the coast, take your businesses with you, and
yeah. I mean, that depends on what happens with them. Whether we sell them up, get some cash in the bank, and then maybe just enjoy retirement, and then just pot around, or whether we carry on doing something. So I don't really know what I sort of know where I want to get to, but I don't know how I'm going to get there yet, whether it's going to be a straight road or whether it's going to be like quite a bendy road.
Yeah, well, who knows? But the important thing is you're going to give it a go.
Yeah, no, and we will get there. It just depends on what guys we get there in.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And do you know what? I hope you guys will agree with me. I'm absolutely confident that you will get there, because you can just tell when you talk to certain people, and we have, again, something we've been talking about a lot in Elite Sellers. We all have these self-limiting beliefs about,
definitely.
what we think or perceive in ourselves that we can't do. But when you dig deep and you actually question those self-limiting beliefs, that's when you really do grow within your business, and you can take your business to the next level. So your level of experience that you've kind of developed over the last few years, I've got no doubt whatsoever, will take you in that direction.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've learned a lot about business. Probably the biggest thing I've learned is about myself.
Yeah, that's what my next question was going to be. What is your biggest lesson over the last kind of 5 years since being in business?
It's probably understanding myself, because it's taken a long time. Like, I'm 51 now. If I'd have known if I was in the situation I am now 20 years ago, I think life would have been so much, not necessarily easier, but from a mental health point of view, it would have been better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would probably be the thing going forward, is that.
Yeah. And I think everything happens at the right time for people, for when you can handle it. Essentially, I often think that I often think we've seen some of our biggest successes since we had children, whereas it's a game changer, obviously, running a business since when you have young children as well, because although my children will always be my first priority, when they're little, you got to keep them alive, kind of thing. So that's your responsibility. That's your main responsibility. But if certain opportunities I think had come to us before we'd had children, we things would be different from us. But at the same time, I am a firm believer in the right opportunity. You have to be in the right space mentally.
Definitely. You've got to be in the right frame of mind to see them, and to
recognize it,
and to take it. Because I've always had sort of a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, and always thought, oh, you do this, do that, but never actually followed it through all the way. I've got probably to 90%, and then for some reason I've just gone, nah, I can't be bothered.
And do you know what? If I take everything else away, that's what I'm so thankful for being in this kind of space on the Amazon side of things, is because I often say with people that with Amazon, it's a lot of people's first kind of adventure into running their own business. And no matter what you think about Amazon and whether or not you end up staying in Amazon forever, it's generally people's first experience of running their own business, and it gives them the kind of bug of setting off on their journey, and to be part of something that helps people do that or allows people to do that. It's the thing I'm most proud of, to be perfectly honest, in terms of my working career or whatever. So and people have to, like I said, be in the right place at the right time to receive that opportunity, recognize that opportunity, take action on that opportunity, and see where it takes them.
I think it's about not being scared as well. I've learned that as well. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with something like Amazon starting on online arbitrage, the worst that can happen is, if you start out small, you give it a go, I always think, yes, you could lose money. You could lose money, but it's that type of business that you can scale it so quickly. You don't have to start out with £10,000. You can still start out, with £200, £300. Yeah, it's probably going to take you longer to get there than anyone else, but it depends on the decisions that you make within that business. But the important thing is to get started, see what happens.
Yeah, I remember a post that Matt did probably 3 years, 2.5, 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can't remember the exact post, but basically the summary of it was, don't give up. And out of all the posts he's done, that's the one that I've remembered, because I knew that the only way to fail was to give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anybody out there, don't give up.
Absolutely. And I heard that from Chris, serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was a serial entrepreneur, but
I would. 2 successful businesses. That's a series.
Yes,
that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
and more in the pipeline. So definitely, if not double entrepreneur, if not, then soon
Quadruple.
to be serial. Yeah, soon to be serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The word serial and it's associated with killers, but it's a good representation. Simon says 100% for sure. So does Darren. Listen, Chris, thank you so much for tonight. I think it's been a real pleasure, real insight for people, for things done slightly differently. Please show Chris some love, guys. I think you've done phenomenally well, and give yourself a pat on the back. And I think genuinely, like I said, I think honestly, whatever you put your mind to, I'm sure that you'll achieve. And I look forward to, seeing your kind of journey progress in whatever it takes. Lots of love hearts and loves and everything coming in. So was it as scary as you thought? Glad you did it? Glad you did that?
Yeah, glad I did it. Yeah. Few nerves to start with, first few minutes, but then once I got going, it was all right, yeah.
I see. I promise. I mean, unless they've said it behind my back, I've never had anybody come on and haven't enjoyed it. So this interview today came from me saying what I'm going to say now. If anybody really does want to start to push themselves out of their comfort zone, get into that uncomfortable zone, because that's the place where business grows. I don't know if obviously it's your plan to do any media side of things, but it's not necessarily about that. It's about pushing yourself to do things that you haven't done before. So you start to kind of recognize that feeling of uncomfortableness, because you learn to recognize that as, oh, I've got this feeling again. This means something good's going to happen. I'm pushing myself out of, the comfort zone. So something good's going to come my way. So if anybody does want to do what Chris has done, reach out to me, drop me a message. Come on, never mind the buy box. Everybody's always got interesting and varied stories. Like I said, even if you sit here for an hour, I'll talk for you. It's fine. I said that to you before. I can talk for England. I think you guys all know that by now. So, if you do, please reach out to me. Dean says, great insights, Chris. Thank you. Cindy said, love seeing the SA members. Absolutely. So always good to see, for sure. So, Chris, we wish you all the best. Like I said, I really look forward to seeing your journey develop over 2022. Keep us updated with everything that's going on. Celebrate those wins, and I'm sure it will absolutely continue to develop the business this year. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll be back same time next week, 7:00. Have a great evening, everyone. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.